to another episode of The Inquisitive Analyst. I'm your host, Marcus Udikang. It's the show where we chat about business analysis and project management issues and the challenges and triumphs within those fields. It's inspiring, informative, and very much inquisitive. And today, I want to explore technology, but on the periphery of business analysis and project management. My guest today is an aspiring high school student on her way to start university in the fall. And she's attended high school here in Calgary until the graduation this year. And she is one of the co-founders of the career exploration group called Joy to Job. And they had me on one of their webinars, so I thought I would invite them on my show. So please help me welcome to today's show, joining us from Calgary, Canada, Katie Sattler. Welcome, Katie.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for appearing on the show. It's a delight. Now, the group that you belong to, it's a young group of ladies who have spent a lot of time exploring careers before they enter university. And I think that's very admirable because it shows great planning ahead. And as the saying goes, if you fail to plan, you will plan to fail. So those who plan ahead are often very successful. And it's this very inquisitive nature which is so very much in demand in the workforce today. So I want to be able to ask you, how and why did you come up with the idea of Joy to Job, and what is Joy to Job all about?
Yeah, so Joy to Job is basically these monthly webinars that we organize and host, where students it's all built around students, like basically just getting a better idea of choosing their career path and what it's really like to be in a general like career field, and yeah, kind of what those careers look like. So we set up a panel of usually 4 or 5 professionals from, say, like computer science or health and medicine or engineering, and then we kind of like they get to know the panelists, they have an opportunity to ask them questions, and really just like kind of a lot of opportunity to engage and kind of discuss like careers in those fields. How we came to start Joy to Job actually was, so I guess January of 2020, pre-pandemic. Me and then Grace and Bridget, my 2 other co-founders, we entered in this competition called Technovation, which is really all about like helping girls they solve a problem in their community through business, and then it's kind of like you do like a pitch and kind of come up with a business plan. So we entered in that competition and we did really well. I think we came first in Alberta and top 15 in Canada. And then that kind of ended when the pandemic was picking up. And we just felt like the idea we had come up with, which was like kind of this idea about like connecting professionals with high school students and students in general to help them like figure out their careers. We just felt like we had found a real solution to a real problem. And so we decided to keep going with it. And that's, in grade 12, we decided to like really start like making these webinars into reality. And yeah, now we're here.
Fantastic. Now, how many schools or how many students have really participated in Joy to Job?
So, so far, after we've done, I think it was 6 webinars or maybe it was 7 that we did this year. We had 416 students register, which is really exciting. I don't think we had any idea that it would get that big. And they came from a really like diverse, we kind of started off in our own school, but by the end of the year, we ended up having students from 79 different schools. So yeah, pretty big, lots of growth, I'd say.
This is incredible. This is amazing. Yeah. So what studies will you be pursuing in university?
So I am set to go to the University of British Columbia in the fall, and I'm currently, planning on doing a Bachelor of Science. I'm particularly interested in like neuroscience and just kind of like how people think. So yeah, I mean, for all the like webinars we've kind of put on and all the career exploration I've kind of done through that, I still would say I don't have like a super like clear view of what I want to do, but definitely something related to like neuroscience. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, what type of path do you hope your career will take after university? Like you said, something about neuroscience. Any idea? Like I know it's going to grow over time. Like once you get to university, you're going to have different ideas in your head. It's going to change over time. But right now, in say neuroscience, do you have an idea of, okay, I want to go to this particular section of neuroscience or any other avenue within science?
I think that's something that I still like very much want to explore. I know like I've recently kind of become also interested in computer science through this mentorship program that I've been participating in. So definitely like I think there's a lot of ways that computer science and neuroscience intersect. And yeah, I think there's just like so much that we're like learning about the brain. I think there's a lot of possibilities. And yeah, I'd say right now I don't have a like super clear idea, but I definitely want to do something relating to like research and like kind of be able to help people through that. So yeah, I think that's kind of my idea right now.
Cool. I was going to mention, no matter what part of science you decide to go into, there's probably going to be some element of project management involved,
Mm-hmm.
and probably a degree of business analysis, some analysis of some sort. It may not be business analysis, but there will be certainly an element of analysis involved. There is a Dr. McCrae who used to be a neuro surgeon at the Foothills Hospital here in Calgary, and she's now since retired a few years ago. But when I spoke to her many years ago, she told me that she was the only female neurosurgeon at the University of Calgary. And just as she was leaving, there was another female neurosurgeon that came in. So certainly that's an avenue to explore, is neurosurgery. Very few females go into it. So you'd have, I mean, there's several doors open. And if you do decide to go there, come back to the Foothills Hospital to become one of the staff members there. That certainly is an option. So what, looking back and having these webinars, can you sort of put your foot down and say, if I asked you, what are some of the perspectives about careers that you've learned from your webinar? Could you give us some idea of those?
I mean, I think the biggest thing that this has shown me is like, one, no one like has a clear path that they like know what they want to do. Like everybody has a lot of uncertainty. And two, like so many people like they start out doing one thing, and like most of our panelists have like had some sort of change, or like they like were like, oh yeah, I got a degree for like coding and now I work in this like area of the humanities. Like it's been so kind of eye-opening, because I feel like when you're growing up, it's like, okay, like you have to decide, like if you once you're done high school, you have to decide like what you want to be, and that's it, like that's all. But it's like I think that has been like just like absolutely not the case for almost any of the really successful panelists that we've had. So yeah, in general, I think it's shown me like how like non-linear people's careers are. But I think like if you're wondering like specific webinars, I think like just like for example, we had a health science and medicine one, and they're kind of talking about how like people, like a lot of people want to be a doctor, and they're just kind of saying like, I think it's like kind of like, oh, like being a doctor, but like like med school is really hard, like it's really long time you have to be in school, so you really just have to like really want to be there, and like you're not like in it for the money, not in it for because it's like a respectable job, like you have to like really just want to help people and want to be a doctor. And I think that's something that can apply to like all fields. It's like, yeah, like I don't know, getting to a certain point in a career is hard, and I think you just like really have to want to be there. Yeah, no, I think there's been lots of really like interesting, as well as like I think we've been learning about like different like people who like kind of talk about how like they've had so much success, and then they like kind of then talk about how like they failed a course in university, and it's like, yeah, like you're gonna feel burnt out, you're gonna like failure is gonna be something that you're gonna have to like deal with, and just kind of like it's kind of inspiring in that sense for sure.
Yeah, I know a lot of during my parents' era, at least when they started university years ago, it was said that, yes, you got into a career for life and that was it. And
Mhm.
definitely for sure, my grandparents' period was like that now. But I can confidently tell you that my parents, well, in the case of my mother, she certainly changed careers many times. So I think the expectation is that we'll all do that in this, especially with technology, that when technology
Exactly.
changes so frequently. Yeah. Now, what type of activities have you done to prepare yourself for university and maybe even the working world?
I mean, I definitely, it was always something on my mind. But I think like the single biggest thing was really like starting Joy to Job and kind of just by default had to attend all of these webinars as a moderator. But just I think like being like I was a moderator, but I was also kind of an audience member. And I think just like hearing everyone's perspectives and kind of like in an interactive, like kind of live setting, just
Mm.
yeah, I feel like people just have like so like their experience and kind of hearing it from them is something that you can't find just by like Googling careers or like, I don't
Mm.
know, taking a like, I don't know, one of those like job quiz things where you like answer like 70 questions and then it tells you you should be this or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think like just that has been so big. And I think um yeah, like especially with the pandemic, it's been harder to kind of have the like organic kind of conversations. Like you're at a family gathering and you talk to someone, you like find out they're in neuroscience, and then you talk about like, so I think definitely like going to the webinars has been super helpful. Yeah.
I think it's amazing. And a lot of people put on YouTube channels like myself to help others out there learn. I
Mhm.
was going to ask, are you going into a co-op program at UBC?
Yeah, I haven't like decided that yet, but I think I would really like to do it if I can. I think there's like so much you can gain from having like work experience, you know. I feel like I don't know, in high school, like if you have like a 93 or a 97, like I don't know, like it's a difference, but I feel like you have like about the same abilities, but if you have someone who's experienced versus someone who's not experienced, like I just feel like having that experience is so valuable. Like it's
Oh yeah.
more than just having the grades, it's like kind of knowing the hands-on like practical
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. I've certainly have a lot of friends. I didn't go into it, but I have a lot of friends who did, especially in if you're in technology or science, you can do that. And
Mhm.
sometimes it'll add on an extra year.
Yeah.
Sometimes it won't. Sometimes if you do the co-op during the summer, it won't do that. Or sometimes they'll give you a semester to do it. But
Mhm.
I think the co-op certainly gives you an opportunity to get that experience with a company. And usually when you graduate, the company will hire you on after the co-op.
Yeah.
So that's so it's not a guarantee, but it's a big, strong chance that you'll get employed. Now, any recommendations for those younger students coming behind you in grades 9, 10, or 11 who have aspiring careers in technology, for example? Any recommendations for them?
I think like just yeah, kind of what I've been saying is like one, like just in general that you don't have to know what you want to do. But two, like if you're interested in science and technology and those sort of things, like do stuff outside of school. Like don't just kind of go to your classes that you kind of have to do anyways and then I would say like definitely get involved because I think there's so many opportunities that like get you kind of that experience that is so like practical and stuff. That kind of yeah, just like gives you kind of an edge on everybody, but also like then you kind of know if you're interested because yeah, there's really no other way to know other than doing the hands-on. I know for me, like I participated last summer in this mentorship program for
Yeah.
women in STEM, and that kind of was what
Hmm,
sparked. It's called Command F. Actually, I think it's run by UBC. I'm not sure,
nice.
but yeah, and that was what I was able to like meet with a mentor who had similar interests to me, and she like kind of just helped me learn to code, talked about like different career paths. She actually is a student at UBC, so she helped me like select my courses. And so I think like doing just getting involved in stuff like that, like it's, and it doesn't have to be a huge time commitment either, but yeah, I think there are just so many opportunities, especially for girls in STEM. I'd say
Mhm,
that's like there's so many opportunities
mhm.
now.
Yeah, I help out with a scholarship fund that is strictly for females in STEM.
Oh,
So
cool.
I know, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I've been doing that for about a year or so. Now, any plans to continue Joy to Job while at university?
Yeah, so we're actually really excited. We just this spring got 3 new team members because yeah, originally it was just Grace, Bridget, and I. And then yeah, we got 3 new team members, so double the size of our team, so that we can kind of like continue to grow and also make it sustainable so that I don't know, it was pretty crazy with just the 3 of us organizing everything. And yeah, so yeah, we'll be doing it for the whole rest of kind of the
Cool.
2021-2022 school year. And we also have a bunch of like sponsorships and partners that we've also kind of got coming up for
Nice.
the school year. So yeah, definitely gonna continue to do it for sure.
Sponsors, that is cool. You guys are rocking it. You're just you got this 400 some odd people participate. That's fantastic. And I think the cool thing about it is when you experience your first year, you'll have so much more. Like you mentioned, as you're growing, you're passing this on to those students who are coming up behind you, right? So I think that's really amazing. Now, you mentioned some of the other types of webinars you had. You said there were technology, health sciences, medicine, all this kind of stuff. Any particular thing that stands out? I mean, that was a lot. That's a big list. Business and entrepreneurship, computers, technology, health science, medicine, humanities, social science. That's a good, wide, broad perspective for students. Is there anything that stood out to you? I mean, obviously there was the sciences, which you're going into, but was there anything else that sort of caught your attention that made you think, maybe I could go into this?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I love science, but I also like am fascinated by stuff in the humanities and yeah, kind of that area. So I definitely thought that like, yeah, going to that webinar was really cool. Just to hear about kind of like ways, I don't know, things can be kind of applied and stuff. So like kind of across different fields. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think like all of the webinars they were all like, of course, like very like there's things that were unique to their
To their area.
field, like kind of the different like career paths and stuff. Like, for example, like most people in engineering, they just like had an undergraduate degree and whatever. And it was kind of, but then like science, we had someone with like I think like masters, and maybe there's someone with a PhD, and it was very much like kind of more focused on like the university experience. So yeah, I would say there's like in general though, like despite those kind of little things, there's generally a bunch of like overarching themes, but just like kind of how to approach careers and just how to be like successful in what you're interested for sure.
Well, I think that's cool. Well, I think you guys are certainly a set of young, aspiring students that are probably going to just shoot for the stars. From all this stuff you guys have been telling me, it's been one success after another. So I wish you guys the best of luck. I'm sure you will be more than successful. Um, if anyone in the audience wants to get in touch with yourself or Grace or Bridget, the other two co-founders, any way people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, for sure. So I think the best way I would say would be just through our website, joytojob.com. There's a little spot where there's an email address, and you just click on it, and you can send us an email, and we check the email box pretty regularly and try to reply to like most of the emails that we get, or actually all of them. But yeah, other than that, also our social media, we also are really active on Instagram and
Nice.
LinkedIn and Twitter. And I think for all of those, our handle is just Joy to Job also. So yeah, we definitely love when people reach out and definitely want to have conversations with people about all sorts of things for sure.
Fantastic. That's cool. Well, thanks for coming on the show. It's been awesome having you. And I wish you guys all the best of luck. I'm sure you guys will just strive for the stars. And if you decide to go into neurosurgery, come back to the Foothills Hospital to work in the public sector, not so much the private sector. But all right. Well, congratulations. Thanks for coming on the show, and have yourself a great day.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. All right, take care.
Thank you.
And now a word from our sponsors. The Lewis Institute provides an enterprise project management program that does more than just train PMs. It helps support them from the CEO level on down. These courses help certify project leaders and prepare them to pass the PMP exam. The Business Agility Institute provides Emergence, the Journal of Business Agility. This quarterly publication brings you inspiring stories from the most innovative companies. Use the promo code ANALYST to get a 10% discount on your annual subscription.